It's amazing how people have loved her from the first day that they've known her.
How people are so drawn to her and willing to go above and beyond has completely blown me away. Whether it's at Bonheur or the FedExFamilyHouse, everyone seems to just want to do whatever they can to help her. I've never seen anything like it.
And that started when she was 1 day old in China, when she was left on the doorstep of a primary school. Her mom obviously knew she couldn't take care of her, but knew somebody could. When you're starting the process in the adoption, they ask you about medical conditions that you're willing to look at.
With RaeAnn, when we read through her medical file, we will admit we were skeptical.
She came to us, and we knew this from the get-go, that she had a very complex heart. She has transposition of the great arteries, she had pulmonary stenosis, she had VSD.
I was like, okay, I don't know how in the world we're gonna do this, but we can do it. Like, I was so drawn to her, I was already convinced she was our daughter. We can do this.
We serve a big enough God that can do it all. 3 days after we got home with her, we saw our first cardiologist. We scheduled the first surgery for April, and we had some complications and were in the hospital 30 days. We had 2 open heart surgeries within a 4-month period, and we thought things were on the mend. This last time it was interesting, the day before we went to the hospital, she was at school, had her pictures taken at school, but we knew something was off. I went into work and Amy called and said, "Get home now, we're leaving." Amy held her in the back seat while I was in the van, and it's hard when your child seemingly goes lifeless in your arms. And she was on the phone with the nurses, and they said, "Put your flashes on, drive as fast as you can."
The first night, they weren't sure she was gonna make it through the night. And so they just told us, you
have to stay.
You have to stay, and we need a miracle. With an adoptive child, we need to bond with her. And so we stayed every night in the hospital with her. But eventually, in our last hospital stay, we're exhausted, we're tired, and the doctors are very persistent about that we need to go get rest. It was hard. It was hard to leave her, but we realized we're making life and death decisions for her. And so we started staying over at the FedExFamilyHouse.
After she went to sleep, she would go back over to the FedExFamilyHouse, and she would sleep there for the night and then come back, usually try to be there before she woke up in the morning.
Right.
This last major hospital stay was challenging, but it eventually ended up with a 3rd open heart surgery. Her fingernail beds were purple, her lips were purple. All of those things were not the usual of what you look at. After her surgery, when you have your anesthesiologist come to you in tears, talking about how she's pink.
She looks so good.
She was beautiful, and she had pink lips, and she had pink fingernail beds, and
I couldn't stop
the
staring at her.
overwhelming feeling that it's gonna be okay.
I think with this last surgery and seeing the success, the joy that the doctors were breathing a sigh of relief, I was able to finally stop studying RaeAnn and just enjoy her laughter, enjoy that we got to see her run without tiring. Just being able to enjoy my daughter and realize we possibly have years instead of days or months.
It is truly a blessing knowing the financial burden has been relieved because you're able to stay at the FedExFamilyHouse. The support that they get in order to provide this for families. I mean, when you talk about 97 nights in the hospital, to be able to stay with our child, and that burden is lifted off of you by the donations of numerous people that support the FedExFamilyHouse. For the individuals and the businesses and companies that are able to give financially to the FedExFamilyHouse, The work that you all do just by giving is more than a family can ever thank you for. It is life-changing.
Even though we've only had her a little over a year, I can't imagine what life would be like without her. She's taught us so much and taught us how to live.
She is part of who we are as a family. And we could not thank everybody at Bonheur and the FedEx Family House enough for keeping her a part of our family and how we know that she'll be cared for years to come. Thank you very much.